Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the things I've been concerned about in the budget are the way that small businessmen are going to be affected by the tax increases. They talk about it being over $250,000 in revenue. I know a young couple from Gillette, Wyoming that started a restaurant. It was very successful, and they've expanded it out to 8 restaurants. And I went to their newest restaurant in Casper and ran into one of the people that started it. He said, you know, we started this with $2,000 in our pocket. We now have 8 restaurants, and we still only have $2,000 in our pocket. Everything they've made, they put back into the business. But we're going to stifle the economy by stopping them from putting it back into the business because we're going to make them pay it to the federal government instead. I appreciate your comments on small business that you made. You'll remember in your confirmation hearings, I mentioned that a small businessman from Montana had mentioned to me the need for $5,000 per new employee in order to be able to expand their business, and I appreciate particularly that number being in there. There are a bunch of complications that I'll work with you on to be sure that we're expanding jobs in order to get that, but we also need to expedite the way that they get that, and the $30 billion in small business lending that you mentioned in your opening statement, would that be funded through the SBA? Because the SBA has some requirements about showing that you can't get money before you can get money, and it takes a long time to go through the process because they don't have enough money to begin with, so they're trying to get the money to the people that need it the most, but in the meantime, that kind of stifles the economy. So is there a way to get that through the banks instead?
Senator, excellent questions. Let me just start where you ended, and I want to come back to the beginning. We're proposing both to expand what the SBA can do by raising the loan limits, lowering the guarantee fee on the most successful SBA programs. And Karen Mills is working very hard to make sure that she reduces, streamlines the requirements in those programs without leaving the taxpayer more exposed to risk of loss. But we want to complement that by trying to make sure we're helping community banks too. So the $30 billion program the President referred to is to take $30 billion of repayments we've gotten from the largest institutions, put those aside to help make available to help community banks that are committing to support small business lending.
You're proposing eliminating any tax preferences for the oil and gas industry and for the coal industry, and that will cost jobs in places like Wyoming, and it will increase the taxes on the oil and gas industry and on the coal industry, and those will be passed on to consumers in their electricity bills and at the pump. So I'm kind of curious as to how we're going to increase the taxes on those industries and keep it from being a hidden tax on everyone else. And related to that, there's also an abandoned mine land tax that the President's talking about eliminating in certain cases, and that's actually a law that was passed. It wasn't an appropriation, and that was one crafted by Senator Baucus and I and others that was designed to extend the abandoned mine land tax, which for 30 years had promised that those states that received it would be paid back that money. It was kept in a trust fund, and what we've done is release that money. In exchange, we got the companies to agree to extend the tax. We got the unions pleased that we were able to take care of orphan miners. All of those things plus the production stand a chance of having difficulties if we eliminate those payments. So I hope that we'll take another look at that.
Senator, I'm again happy to work with you and make sure we understand your concerns with how that was designed and proposed. And what you said at the beginning, you were right. We are proposing to eliminate a set of subsidies that now go to the oil and gas and coal industry, and those will raise significant resources over time. We're doing that not only for the reason that we think it's part of being fiscally responsible, and because we think we need to eliminate subsidies in the system that go to objectives that conflict with our broader effort to try to improve energy efficiency and reduce carbon emissions. But recognize they'll be difficult. We don't think they're going to have any effect on prices. We don't think they will. People may disagree about that, and they've been carefully designed in that sense, but why I understand that's going to be difficult and hard. And and we'd be happy to work with you, particularly on your concerns about the way the abandoned mine proposal was designed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary, and I share that concern on that program with Senator Enzi, and hope we can work that out. Senator Carper, you're next.